Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I'm glad you're here. Before we start tonight's topic, I wanted to mention one other thing about last night's video when we did a read about the leaked memo from the Supreme Court about possibly a Roe versus Wade decision coming down from the court at some point. I would like to remind everybody, no matter what your feelings are about abortion, if the Supreme Court does strike down Roe versus Wade, it's not going to make abortions illegal in our country. It simply returns the authority to make legal decisions about whether they are or not back to each state. So there will be states where it's very difficult to get one and states where it's not. And I just wanted to remind everybody of that. It seems like this is the outrage of the week that they want us to be upset about. It doesn't take responsibility away from us if we have strong feelings one way or the other to take action, to ask our state to have legislation that matches what our convictions are. And if we truly feel that that life is precious and important, then what are we doing to help people that are having a crisis about that to move forward with becoming parents? There's a lot of opportunities here to show our humanity, both towards people that are in situations that they didn't plan on, and for states that will be trying to possibly, if there's a reversal, come up with decisions that match the will of the majority of the people. So just something to be mindful of, not outraged about. Know how you feel about it and be ready to move forward. Now, I said last night that I thought this was kind of planned to be our outrage of the week, and I still feel that way. I try not to buy into the outrage any more than the fear. But I thought, what should we be looking at? What would be worldwide? And the thing that came to me was money. And following the money always seems to be a wise thing to do. Whether we're wondering how someone went from being an actor to the president of a small country and is worth hundreds of millions, and that's supposed to all be with clean money, or our career politicians in our own shores who are multi millionaires, and and only since they went into public service. I think following the money is always wise to do. I really do. And while we have limits to what we can do from here, just our own living rooms and what have you, there was something I saw and I wanted to share with you. So hang on just a minute. I'm going to share the screen and show you something. Okay. According to Benjamin Fulford and other media sources on the alt media platforms, there has been recently a raid in Germany of the Deutsche Bank, and that according to Benjamin Fulford, he said he has MI6 sources that tell him that the fences that are going up around our Federal Reserve building in Washington, D.C., that there's a connection there. The connection seems to be that our Federal Reserve, which was never federal and never a reserve. Anyway, that's another topic for another time. The fences are helping to prevent some money laundering. That the raid on the Deutsche Bank was also about that. Cabal, dark hats, Khazarian mafia money is all in fiat currency. And since it's not being printed anymore, and at some point it's supposed to come out of circulation, there is a belief, and I think it's quite logical, that they're trying to launder and get as much of it into circulation as they can while they can. Now, I thought we'd do a read on that, and then we'll see what that might mean for we regular people who just want to be informed and aware and know what's going on, even though we have to go to obscure corners of the internet sometimes to find truth and news. So our question for the universe tonight is going to be, is there a connection between the fencing around the Federal Reserve building and the recent raid on Deutsche Bank? And is there anything the universe wants to share with us about fiat money and those who rely on it. So let's see what the cards have to say. Let's look at our cards. We, the questioners, are shown by the Knight of Pentacles. Now, he is often associated with military action, but he definitely is a card of stability and security. And that's a good one for us to be shown by, because we're asking, are these connected, these two incidents, even though there's an ocean between them, the Deutsche Bank raid, the Federal Reserve having riot fencing around it? And what should we know about that? We're being told the Ace of Wands is a situation, and the Ace of Wands is about new beginnings. Okay, so yes, there is a connection, and it's connected to new beginnings. The new beginnings is the financial system that we've spoken about, not in great detail, but as we know, as we move away from fiat or non-asset-backed currencies into asset-backed ones, and by the way, over 3 billion people on our planet are already doing that. As we join them and go forward, it's a new beginning, and it's going to be an exciting time. Okay, now let's look at the recent past, present, and future for fiat money and these two possibly. Queen of Cups was the recent past. She can be a little distracted, a little self-absorbed, and much to their surprise, the fencing went up, the raid happened, and to be successful, they had to happen without a lot of notice and warning. Currently, we've got Pentacles showing up, and Pentacles tend to be well-grounded energy and also about money. And there is going to be a rollout, continuing rollout of the new financial systems that have asset-backed currencies. I'm probably going to have to stop this and give my cat a treat so she doesn't join us at the table. Just a moment. Okay, Chloe's got her treat. Let's keep going and talk about some treats coming up for us, humanity, across the planet. You know, we said last night that there was something worldwide that we might be not supposed to be looking at closely. And I keep thinking it's the money. All right, the rollout for the new system is not going to happen overnight, but it is going to happen. It's going to be a harvest, and it's going to be good for all of us. Now, looking ahead, we have the Two of Wands. We have lots of wands here showing up at the bottom. Remember, wands are about written and spoken words. And quite often for me with the cards, and I need to explain this, there's actions involved with them more than maybe with other card readers, because for a lot of my career, I've had to write education plans that we didn't just write, we had to implement. So I think that will fade as I move into full retirement. But at the moment, we can also anticipate some actions involved with these written and spoken words that are happening. Now, when you have the Two of Wands here, he is looking out on some new territory, and we are going to be getting into new territory with our finances, especially as the quantum financial system comes openly into play and all countries have some sort of asset-backed currency. Asset-backed simply means that it's not hot air and promises that are behind whatever your currency is, but there's some kind of precious metal or gold or silver, something tangible that's holding that value. And that helps stop inflation. So that's a good thing, okay? The King of Wands is our first clarification card, and the King of Wands is wise. So whoever has been slowly getting this off the ground and strangleholding the bad money has had a lot of vision and wisdom in what they've done. Now, the Knight of Wands, he's about forward motion. He's usually not too hasty, but he's more than willing to put his money where his mouth is. In other words, take action and uphold whatever he's told to uphold. So as he's clarifying this new venture we're going out on, that is a really good thing. Let's look at a few other cards and see if they kind of tell us more about what to expect, what's going on with fiat currency. And remember, fiat just simply refers to the older money systems that weren't asset backed. Okay, here's one of my military cards, Knight of Swords. So the military is involved with this, with the rollout, and probably to keep as many of us safe as possible as this happens. Okay, here's a defeat card, and this I believe would refer to more to the Khazarian Mafia, the bad money. Okay, not for us. We have the Page of Pentacles coming up and the Page of Cups. Those are youthful energies, and this is for new endeavors. So really, we're getting into some new territory with both our money and some very pleasant surprises that are headed our way. It truly is an exciting time to be alive. Now, I want to say, what does this mean for regular people like you and I? Okay, we're not wheeler dealers, but we are in the crosshairs sometimes of this system change, of the defeat of the cabal and dark energies. So what I would say to you is that what we need to do is have what that's called situational awareness. Because as you know, have you ever played a board game with a bully? And even though 5 moves before the end, they insisted on playing it out all the way to the end, which is fine. But then on that last move, they throw the board up in the air and all the pieces go flying and they go stomping off. Okay, we need to have situational awareness as we're out, because our lives weren't valued by this outgoing system regardless anyway, but our lives do have value. And so watch out for yourself and your neighbors when you're in large crowded places. Look around you. Just be careful, because we don't know when that board game's going to get flipped and the bully's going to go stomping off finally once and for all. But we don't want collateral damage to happen. And there have been so many efforts made by the white hats to make sure there's not any. We need to do our part too. Doesn't mean to be fearful. Go forth in confidence. Go forth in love. Go about your life. That's what so many are fighting that we can do. Just, keep your eyes open. If you see something, say something. That's it for this video and for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. If you'd like, subscribe and comment and share my videos. And thanks for being part of this. Until next time, good night.